Christian first.
Would it be 2x minus 5 and times 2x plus 5?
Yeah, this is the case. Do you remember what we called this? There's a little name we said. What's the name?
Same squares.
Close.
Difference of squares.
Difference of squares. They have the word squares in there. Difference of squares, because when you subtract, you look for two things. 2x times 2x is 4x squared. Negative 5 times 5 is negative 25. And then when you FOIL them, the two numbers add up to 0 in the middle. So you want one to be minus, you want one to be plus. So that's going to be that final answer, okay? Like I said, we're just going to keep hitting these. And this is just your answers. We just went over there. Just double check again for those. All right, answers to your homework. One thing you really got to do is watch the format for the answers. So and we got about through 13 through 16 here yesterday because you got a little bit of a head start. So 1-8 should be the answer because it says find the vertex. So you got listed as an ordered pair. -2, -11 is the second one. -2, -2. And then the last one is 310. Now, some of you had some issues with 18. Let's take a look how to do this one. This is like the one we did with the sailboat. We got to find the vertex. All right, you're going to probably need your calculators here. How do I find, all right, tell me how to find the axis of symmetry for that column.
She put negative and then times 63.
Okay, -63 because, all right, let me, hold on one second. It's negative b over 2a. Our b is whatever's in front of that's 63, and our a is -16. All right, keep going.
And then under it is 2
Yep.
times -16.
All right, use your calculators. What does that give us? Use your calculators.
Would it be negative?
What?
Yes.
Get that as yes.
Yeah.
Oh, let's finish it there. Almost done. For that, Zane, what's your calculator give you?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know.
You don't know.
It's giving me weird. I don't know. Am I supposed to divide it?
Yeah.
I'm so confused.
They're called decimals.
Oh, okay. -3.9. Negative 3.9. I don't know.
Yeah, you don't
I
know.
got it. I got a weird number.
Sam, what do you got?
I got 1.97.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you gotta make sure you put this in your calculator correctly, and you're right, Sam. But I wanna make sure that everybody else sees it, because here's the issue. If you just put it in the calculator, some of you will do this as -63, and if you hit divided by 2 times -16, is that the number you get? Oh, that gave me 504. So that's not even in the ballpark. But it looks like I put it in correctly.
You didn't divide, multiply.
Right. So it's going to do this if you type it in just like that, it's going to give you a wrong answer, because you have to. And here's what I suggest you do: multiply these two together first. -63, 2 times -16 is -32. A negative divided by a negative will give you a positive. So this is what you need to actually plug in, is 63 divided by 32. And that's where you get that decimal. Now, depending on what you rounded it to. Or if you're going to put it all in at once, you got to do -63 divided by parentheses 2 times -16, and you can get away with that, and then it'll work. So you just got to watch entering the whole thing. So 1.97 is that x value. To find the height, you got to plug that into the equation. There's going to be -16, 1.97 squared plus 63 times 1.97 plus 4. And now you can just put that one in. -16, 1.97 And I know Evan rounded it off to 2, and some of you might have also rounded off to 2, which is fine, plus 63 times 1.97 plus 4. So it doesn't work out to be a great number, but I got 66, about 66 feet. Well, the tree is how tall? 68 feet. So it's only going to get to a height of 66 feet. So the arrow will not pass over the tree. Okay, for that one. So you got to be able to find the vertex for 18. Okay, and it has not nice numbers, so that can happen. All right, I think we had to do 19 through 31 odd. So 19, all you had to do is find the zeros. So no zeros. 21, -8, -2. Now, you got to watch because the scale, I bet you a few of you got down -4 to -1. Anybody willing to admit that? Yeah, Allie has it? Okay, watch the scale on the graph, and I want you to put it in ordered pairs. So -8, 0, -2, 0. Okay, for that. 23, the axis of symmetry. X equals 6. It's just the vertical line that goes through there. 25, you should get x equals 1/2. 27 is x equals 5. 29, all right, this is where some of you said, hey, I got some not nice numbers. Well, that happened. -3.5 because that's 7/2. And when you plug that in, you get -12.25. And you can just plug in -3.5. You don't need to do the fraction. And then the last one should get -2.5. Okay, for that one. So -2.5 on those. All right, any quick questions here? All right, we're going to go into section 9.3 where we got to graph these, and I do got guided notes for you. Let me hand those out. And before I hand them out, though, I just want you to pay attention here real quick. I forgot about this. What's the y-intercept? Can you describe what it is? Christian?
It's a point on the graph on the y-axis,
Yep, it's the point of the graph where it hits the y-axis.
and it doesn't have a variable. I don't think.
Does that graph have a y-intercept?
No.
Yep, it hits right there. That's called the y-intercept, so that's going to be important, especially for a quadratic. All right, the y-intercept here is the point 0, -2. Now look at the equation. The equation's x squared minus 2. This equation is x squared minus 4x plus 4. Here's your y-intercept. And this equation is -2x squared minus 6x minus 3. And there's your y-intercept. You can figure out the y-intercept by just looking at the equation. What tells us the y-intercept? Okay, Christian?
There's no variable.
It's the number without the variable.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what I mean. So like right there, that's a -2, right? What's my y-intercept? -2. That's a +4. What's my y-intercept? 4. That's a -3. What's my y-intercept? -3. That is always going to be the case with a quadratic, because what do you plug in? What is the x-coordinate of every y-intercept? What is the x-coordinate? Okay, this is important. What's the Connor? Do you understand what I'm asking? What is the x-coordinate on all of these y-intercepts?
The x-coordinate is 0.
0. So if I plug in 0 into the equation, it basically makes that go to 0 and that go to 0. The only thing you're left is the constant. So to find the y-intercept, all you do is you let x equal 0. When you do that, everything else disappears, but that constant. Okay, but that constant. All right, let me pass these out. Don't start anything yet. Don't start anything yet. You're right there.
Are you gonna rebuild this? No. I saw that.
Outer Banks.
You know why? So much was made out of that fire.
Now you go back to
How would you slam the trash?
That's fine for you.
Didn't we do this on community?
I don't think so.
I swear we did.
Where?
I swear. We did something like.
We have talked about X and Y intersections, we have, but more with, quadratic.
Imagine the front's higher than the back.
So you're not, you're totally wrong.
It would be like a low rider.
That's something. All right, we're gonna go through the graph, and there's certain, checkpoints you gotta hit. And it's easiest just to kind of actually go through this worksheet and treat it as guided notes, because it kind of sets up exactly what you need to do. So in order to graph this, like plugging in the points -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2 don't always give you an accurate picture. So there's other methods that we need to use. Sometimes you'll be asked to do that. Sometimes it will not give you what we want. All right, the axis of symmetry cuts it in half, right? And that will tell us, right where the middle point is, and we can find the vertex and kind of graph some points on the left and right. So the first thing we want to do is we want to find the axis of symmetry. Okay, and then we'll draw that in. So go ahead and let's plug in, or let's figure out what we need to do for this one on that first line. So you plug in, it actually tells you -b/2a. B is -2. A is 1, right? That becomes -2/2, and so in the end, x equals -1. X equals -1. Now, and do write it like that, right? X equals -1 at some point. I want you to draw that on your paper. Now, when you draw the axis of symmetry, now right here, those numbers are kind of right on that line. And you always want to make the axis of symmetry a dotted line. So there's your axis of symmetry. Okay. So draw that in there, draw that dotted line. All the way down. Yep, all the way down. Okay. That cuts it in half. Now don't, I'm just wait for a second before you do anything else. Does this graph open up or open down? Okay, but looking at the equation, Connor, do you know whether it opens up or down?
It opens up.
It opens up. Don't write what I'm gonna write down, but just look. I know that the vertex has to be on the axis of symmetry, and I know this graph has to at least look like that. Okay? I don't know exactly where it hits. It might hit there, it might hit down here, it might hit up here. But I know that has to be, it can't be over here, because the axis of symmetry has to cut it exactly in half. Zane, does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes? Oh, I got a yes. I'll take that. I'll take that. Zane?
What's up?
I don't know. Do you know how to find the vertex now? Do you know how to find the vertex?
Is it just the same thing, except you plug it into the equation?
Okay, we're gonna plug it into the equation. Now you should have a little bit of room below there. So I'm gonna plug in -1 into the equation. Now for that x squared, make sure you put -1 in parentheses, plus 2 times -1 minus 3. Use your calculator is fine, but watch it. You gotta put that in parentheses. See what you get for that y value. See what you get for that y value. Evan?
-4.
All right, -4, but I gotta have some confirmation. I gotta have somebody else that, or says yes. Colin, what do you say?
Yeah.
You say yes. So that's gonna be 1 minus 2 minus 5, which is -4. So right here where it says vertex, you need to write this as -1 comma -4. You gotta write it as a point. Don't just put -4, that's not correct. So -1 comma -4. Go to that point. Well, I was pretty close. Put a dot right there. That's gotta be the lowest point. So it's gonna come down, it's gonna hit that point, then go back up. All right, we just talked about the y-intercept. I don't know if it's sunk in yet. Christian?
-3.
Good. The y-intercept is the c value, which is the constant. Now, when you write it, it is a ordered pair 0, -3. 0, -3. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to put a dot at 0, -3. All right, now it says 2 other points. And here's where you gotta be careful. You just can't pick 2 points at random. There's a little bit of a condition on those. These have to be, Christiana, question? Okay, for the y-intercept. The y-intercept is always gonna be whatever the constant is on the equation. That's all it is. So, and then you also always have the x coordinate of 0. Okay, so that is always gonna be the case. Okay. Now, these 2 other points, they are, and here's gonna be a key thing, they need to be on the same side of the axis of symmetry as the y-intercept. Now, let me write it down, then I'll explain it. So these 2 points are on the same side as the y-intercept. And we're just gonna do a really small XY table with 2 points. All right, which side, look at the axis of symmetry. Is the y-intercept on the right or on the left? On the right, correct?
Yeah.
All right, now I need 2 points, 2 x values who are also on the right. Okay, let's see if this is making any sense. You give me Preston, any idea what those x points could be? I gotta plug in x values to get some y values.
-2, -1, 0, 2, 1, 2.
No, we don't wanna do all of those. I only need to do 2 points. Okay, Colin?
1 and 2.
He says 1 and 2. It could be some of those, but here's why it is 1 and 2. We need to go to the right-hand side of this dotted line. I already used 0, so I go to the next available point. The next point's a 1, the next point's a 2. We want these x values to be on the same side as the y-intercept. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna plug in 1 into the equation, see what you get back. Okay, and then we're gonna plug 2 into the equation and see what you get back. So at least probably, there's 2 people, one of you do 1, one of you do 2. If there's only one of you, pick 1 or pick 2. And then plug those in and see what you get. And you're plugging them into the top equation. So it's gonna be y equals 1 squared plus 2 times 1 minus 3. Okay, for that one. Tommy, you got an answer yet? No. All right, keep going, and then I want to see what you get. And then Hanan, or let me get Tommy's first.
I got 0 for 1.
All right, when he plugged in 1, he got 0. That looks correct. So that should be 1 plus 2. So that's going to be 0. So that's the ordered pair 1, 0. Hanan or Ali, which one of you did 2?
I did.
What'd you get?
5.
You got 5? All right, let me do a quick double check. 2 squared is 4. 4 plus 4 is 8. 8 minus 3 is 5. I agree. That is 5. So now put a dot at 1, 0 and 2, 5. The axis of symmetry cuts it in half, right? It's like a mirror. Anything on the right-hand side, there is a mirror point on the left-hand side. So use the axis of symmetry use those points that we have to draw or to plot a mirror point on the other side. So go to the y-intercept, and it's 1 unit away from the axis of symmetry, so I go 1 unit away to put a mirror point on the other side. Go to this point 1, 0, it's 2 spots away from the axis of symmetry, so go 2 spots. This one's 1, 2, 3, go 1, 2, 3. When we're done, we should have a vertex. We should have 3 points on the right, 3 points on the left. Connect with a nice smooth curve. It'll look like that. But here's this 2 points. This is what can throw people off. We got to make sure we keep talking about that. They want to be on the same side as the y-intercept. Same side as the y-intercept. All right, let's take a look at that number 2. Which way should this open? Up or down? Colin?
Down.
Got to open down because you got a negative first term. Okay, so when it doesn't open down, then you got a problem. All right, axis of symmetry. Negative b over 2a. B is negative 8. 2a is negative 2. I got positive 8 over negative 4. So I get x equals negative 2. All right, did you get that? All right. Now, draw in a dotted line at negative 2. Did it? I just want to make sure, are we correct?
Yeah.
All right. So draw in a vertical dotted line at negative 2. That cuts our graph in half, okay? That cuts our graph in half. Okay, plug in negative 2. Oh, you gotta watch this. We got a lot of negatives going on. And I would do this down below there. You have a little bit of room. So I would do y equals this minus, so you have negative 2, then put in negative 2 for x, minus 8 times negative 2 plus 10. All right, everybody try that, see what you get. John, you got the answer? Don't tell me the answer yet. Just wait here. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Oh, what is it? What do you want?
I got negative 1.
Hey, yo, what'd you get? What'd you get?
No, I wasn't.
Hey, yo, Evan, what'd you get?
Yeah.
You got negative 18?
I
Okay, 18.
I definitely
For
didn't
both?
know.
For both.
Yeah.
Positive? I got negative.
Josh, what'd you get?
I got negative 18.
Yeah, negative 18?
No, I got negative 118.
Yeah, that's what I got too.
No, you guys put it in.
That's exactly what I did.
I got negative 118. I know, I checked my pen.
Your hand
Honestly, I
didn't
didn't
move.
want to get it.
It was going like this. And then I went.
Yeah, I got
18. All right. What'd you get?
I got this.
Holy cow.
I got negative 118. Like if Jalen got negative 118, I got it.
Oh, right here. Okay. That has like minus.
When the
It's different, okay? All right, positive 18 comes back. And so you get the point -2, positive 18.
Yeah, how did you? I don't know how you got that.
Okay.
You got it right. What I get?
Did you, you did actually get 118?
I actually got 100.
All right, here's what you did.
But I put the 8 as a -8 instead of a -8.
Right, and it'll treat it different.
Yeah.
Okay, it'll think you're still multiplying everything together. You gotta treat that as a minus. Okay, so there's a difference between the negative and the minus. All right, so -218, so that makes me feel good because it's on the graph. And I know it opens down, so I want things below that. The y-intercept. All right, so Sam, what's my y-intercept?
0, -1. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong one. Never mind. 0, 10.
0, 10, because we talked about the y-intercept is this number right there. It's the number without any x. So 0, 10, go put a dot at 0, 10. All right, now I gotta find 2 additional points. I do a little XY table. I want these 2 points to be the closest x values to the axis of symmetry, but they gotta be on the same side as the y-intercept. So first of all, one second. Are they gonna be on the right or on the left?
The left.
Oh,
The right.
well, of course.
Because the.
It's just Josh.
Right there's your axis of symmetry. Is the y-intercept on the right or on the left? It's on the right. Now, which 2 points do you think, Colin?
-1 and 1.
Okay, he is correct. So start at the axis of symmetry. I want to be as close to there, because if I go way far away, then the points may not be on the graph. So I want to pick -1, and then I can't use 0 because I already got that answer, and then I use 1. So what that means is you plug in -1 into the equation, see what you get. Then you plug 1 into the equation and see what you get. And then we're gonna plot those out. There's room for error, so be careful there. How you plug those in. Yeah.
It's 1, 0.
Yeah. Take that and plug it in, just like you did here.
Oh,
so like,
16. Which one you plug it in?
So this one is negative.
This one would be 0. This one would be 10.
That's
-2 times 0, which is 0.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to think. All you do is plug in
We did
that.
80.
Just like they did here.
Oh, we're just plugging in the first point.
Yes.
Oh, that's definitely wrong.
Wow.
Does yours look like that?
After I'm done putting it in.
Flop your gosh, boy.
Well, you gotta do it. You get.
That's fine.
The baby 116 sounds pretty good. What did you get where you plug in 1?
Yo, rebuild.
Yep, that sounds right.
Is there this is
Put those
number?
on there. All right, Amanda, what'd you get when you plugged in -1? 16. Okay, that is correct. And then how about just for 1? Morgan, did you plug in 1?
Yeah.
Would- That is correct as well. 1, 0. Who said how?
No.
Josh did.
Okay. So you got those right there. Now, from there, you got the mirror points on the other side of the dotted line, the axis of symmetry. So I go to the closest one, that is 1 away. I go over here, that's 1 unit away. The y-intercept is 2 units away. So I go 2 units away. And then I go 3 units away. And so I draw, when we said it opens down from there. And so that's what it's going to look like. All right. So you got, and that's the key thing, is finding those 2 points on the same side as the y-intercept, and they're not always going to be the same 2 points. So you can't say it's going to always be -1 and 1, or what was the first 2? 1 and 2. Okay, not always going to be the same. All right, let's just take a look at that last one real quick. The height and feet of a dolphin as it jumps out can be shown, modeled by the function. All right, use that function, and what I want you to do is find the vertex. And find x equals negative b over 2a. Plug that in. Don't answer anything. Just do me a favor and find the vertex. Well, I'm going to hand out something while you do that. What is your b value for that one? The b value is, Colin?
32,
And what's our a value?
negative 16.
Okay, so find what x is and then plug that in and see if you can find the vertex.
It's not on this graph. Okay, so it's negative because 32, like, negative. And then you plug in numbers down to that.
Negative 32 divided by
16 squared plus 32 is 48.
Oh, it's the same thing. It's just not.
You're right.
Yeah.
Are we still starting to college?
Okay, what do we get for x? You should get negative 32 over 2 times negative 16, which equals 1, right? Who plugged in 1? What'd you get when you plugged in 1? Who's at the door?
This case.
Is it?
Some random kid?
No, it's the teacher.
Oh.
Okay, so it's just regular.
Good period. Save your test. For this case. Okay. Hey, what do we get when we plugged in 1? You got 16? That looks right. We agree?
Yeah.
All right. What we'll do is I'm just going to pause right here for now. Just stop right there. Your homework is just the first 2 problems. Listen, just the first 2 problems. Look at number 2. See how it's written? Okay, on the worksheet, it looks like this. Before you graph it, you gotta get y by itself, so I'm just gonna give you a hand here. Basically, move all those to the other side, and right below the equation, this is what it should look like. So it should be y equals negative 2x squared plus 4x plus 6.
That's number 2.
That's for number 2.
Is that what the axis is saying here?
You haven't found it yet.
So
I'm
what's
just,
I see.
look,
We have to go level.
this is how it looks like on your paper, right?
No.
We can't graph it till you get y by itself. I'm just helping you out.
Thank you.
Just helping you out.
Did you sell one of them?